Hey Jags, it's me Allison bringing you At Home with TJTV. Let's start off with some tips on getting better sleep. Sleep is super important. However, it might be tough for some of you to get a good night's rest. That's why I'm here to give you 3 tips. Starting off with number 1, it's a good idea to have a sleep schedule. At our age, we should try and get at least 10 hours of sleep a night. Having consistent times where you go to bed and wake up can help you reach that goal. Number 2, try your best to de-stress. There's a lot on our minds lately, so indulging in 5-minute meditation or reading can help you relax. And lastly, number 3, although this one might be tough, it's a good idea to limit screen time at least 30 minutes before bed. It'll help clear your head and will ultimately let you fall asleep faster without distractions. And if you want, before bed, you can do a simple mindful activity such as journaling. That's all. Happy sleeping. Next, let's go to Kaden to see what's happening in Mrs. Cunningham's 8th grade science class.
Currently in Miss Cunningham's 8th grade science class, they're learning about waves. They have been experimenting with a PET simulation and seeing what kinds of things affect waves, such as frequency and amplitude. They're also learning about different types of waves, such as sound waves, ocean waves, and light waves. Students are studying about the equation to find the speed of a wave and also about the Greek symbol lambda, which means wavelength.
Here's Matthew with some information about the schools in California.
Hey Jack, Sacramento, California. California public schools could tap into $2 billion from the legislature if they return to in-person instructions. By the end of March, according to new agreement announced by Monday by Governor Gavin Newsom and the state legislative leaders, California, the most popular state in 1,037 public school districts with more than 6.1 million students and about 319,000 teachers. Most public school classes have been not held in person since March of last year. Because of the coronavirus, many districts have struggled to reach agreements with teachers, unions on the best way to return students and staff to the classroom. Reporting for TJTV, I'm Matthew Chen.
Thanks, Matthew. Trying to prepare for the new term? Here are some tips from Emily.
Hey Jags, as you may know, we will be starting a new term soon. It is important to be prepared so that you can be successful, but you may not know how. Let's look at a few ways you can prepare for the next term. First, you should set up a routine for studying. You can plan out when you should study and when you should take a break. Another way to prepare is to set some specific, reasonable goals. Consistently remind yourself of them throughout the term. Finally, find a place to study and work. It must be a comfortable place where you can focus. You should keep some school supplies there as well. And that was the last tip I have for you. Reporting for TJTV, I'm Emily Valente.
Thanks, Emily. Have you heard about the prison escape in Japan? Here's Gideon with more details.
An American father and son who have allegedly aided former chairman of Nissan Motors, Carlos Ghosn, flee Japan have now been extradited back to Japan, where they will face up to 3 years in prison if they are convicted. Carlos Ghosn is an internationally wanted fugitive, fled Japan in December of 2019 as he awaited trial for charges on financial misconduct. He escaped trial by passing through undetected airport security before entering a private jet. He had arrived in Lebanon, which is no extradition treaty with Japan, which meant that he couldn't be tried in Japan. Japanese authorities believe that U.S. Army Special Forces veteran Michael Taylor and his son Peter got paid at least $1.3 million to help Ghosn escape. The American father and son, though wanted for helping Nissan Motor Company boss Carlos Ghosn escape from Japan, has been handed over to the Japanese officials by the U.S. Both Michael and Peter Tyler on March 1st failed to convince officials and courts to stop their extradition to Japan. The duo will now stand trial for aiding Ghosn to escape justice by fleeing the country in December of 2019.
Malia also has some info about the NASA launches.
Hey Jax, I'm Leah. Today I'm going to talk about NASA launches. NASA astronaut launches stopped for nothing, not even a pandemic. The wonders of spaceflight never ceased in 2020. Despite the pandemic's best effort, 4 launches, including 2 historical missions from U.S. soil to the International Space Station, carried on as planned, and the crews were able to remain safe to their journey to and from Earth. Quarantine has become the new normal for many over the last year, but it has long been a part of the routine for astronauts launching into space. That's it for today. Bye, Jax.
Thanks. And that wraps up for today's episode. I'm Allison. Tune in tomorrow for more stories and information from our homes to yours on At Home with TJTV.